the trailer today because we're heading to the Spca to pick me up my very first project horse. So hop in and let's go.
Howdy, and welcome to the Bar SC Ranch, where you will experience our journey of running a family business, caring for animals, and doing life together. Subscribe now and be inspired here at the Bar SC.
Hey guys, I'm here in the round pen with Sam. Sam is a new horse to the ranch. He came to us from the Spca for Monterey County. He's going to be my new project for this next couple of weeks, probably a couple of months. Let's cross our fingers it's not a couple of years. That is my biggest goal. But he was with the Spca for over a year at least, because he was there when we took in our last project. He was still there. So he's looking for a new home, and we're hoping to help him become a better horse so that a new home could find him and enjoy him, and he's going to be what people are looking for when they're going to adopt a horse. Right now, he's unbroken. He's, I believe, 19 years old, give or take. They don't really know. They're just going based on his teeth, so they're looking at dentals and trying to decide, approximately how old he might be. So he's on the older side of things, especially for having never been broken to a saddle and never being ridden. But that doesn't mean that he can't be a wonderful ride, a wonderful, nice guy. He's pretty sprightly. He moves really well, like you're going to see in today's video. He's a cute guy, a friendly guy, and so I hope that we can, give him a little bit more training, send him in the right direction so that hopefully then he could be adopted by somebody and find his forever home outside of the Spca. Here's the cow. Let's not just stand there. He's afraid of the fake cow. I'll admit, I'm also a little afraid of the fake cow. We're just going to stand here and chill for a moment and then continue. Good? Don't run into the car. Oh boy. And now running into me. Thank you. Something I take from that moment, though, is that as he spooked at something behind him, he didn't run me over. What I don't like is he's wanting to be right up next to me when something is scaring him. And ideally, I wouldn't be in this situation between a truck and a wall. It's a little, questionable, but you know what? That doesn't mean we just leave. He doesn't then just be like, well, it was a spaz and then we left. So we have to get over this. Doesn't mean I'm going to put myself between like a literal rock and a truck, but we have to come down from it. We're good. So I'm going to be taking Sam through what we call the method. It's the Clinton Anderson method. We have all of his DVDs. We subscribe to his newsletters and his online, account where he sends out information on a daily and weekly basis all about horse training and his particular approach to training a horse, either to go on to competition, to be really, fancy in a show, or just to accept a rider at all. And we're going to be taking Sam through the colt starting portion of his method. So we're going to be, basically, we don't know what Sam has going on in his past, what had happened, what he had been taught. All we can do is speculate, and I'm really not super willing to just jump up there and go, well, maybe someone's ridden him at some point in his life. Not a good idea. So we're going to start from scratch as if no one's ever, sat on him before, no one's ever ridden him before, no one's ever taught him to steer, to stop, to go, to accept a rider. And we're going to start at square one and work our way up, and hopefully eventually, have Sam, we'll check back in with further videos and you'll be able to see our progress. Hopefully you'll be able to, maybe in a month or two's time, see Sam under saddle and see him, being a little bit more of a productive member of society. So the first thing we do when we're teaching a horse how to round pen is to establish direction. So I want to establish that when I tell Sam to go off to my right, that he goes off to the right and he just keeps going. You'll notice? He wants to turn around, he wants to do circles, but right now I'm not concerned about him turning the wrong way or anything like that. We're not trying to turn. Our main goal right now is that Sam is going to head around to my right and keep up that pace until I've asked him to do something else. And so we're going to do a few laps. This is his time to warm up, my time to see a little bit of how he's feeling. Right now, clearly he's feeling speedy. So we're just going to keep him moving, let him warm up. As long as he's going this direction, I'm not going to nitpick anything else that he's doing. Now, if Dylan were running around, my horse who's more experienced in this, with his head, you can kind of tell that Sam's pointing his head to the outside. His inside ear is listening to me, still listening to me, but he's just kind of staring to the outside of the round pen. Now, if a horse that you've been doing this for a while is doing that, no. Something's wrong and we need to fix it. But with Sam, this is his first time, we're starting from scratch. As long as he'll keep going this way like he's doing beautifully right now, I'm happy. So I'm going to try a change of direction, and Grace might have to step behind me. He's not super great at this yet. Good. And what I like to do when I'm teaching this is the first couple of times that I'm doing a change of direction and I'm drawing them off of the fence to face me, that was beautiful. That was gorgeous. Most horses' inclination when you step out in front of them and try and draw them back towards you is to, slam into the fence and run in the other direction and turn their butt towards me. The fact that Sam just turned and faced me in the middle like that, I'm going to give him a moment. So I'm going to sit, I sit here and I talk to you, that's resting time for him, and he's going, oh, if I turn towards the center, she'll let me stand here, she'll give me a break. And I'm all about him getting a break when he's doing what he needs to be doing. And hopefully in the future, if he runs and turns himself into the fence and goes the wrong way as I ask him to change direction, I'm going to get a little bit more higher energy, cut him off, I'm going to move in front of him, and I'm going to send him back the way he was going previously before he made the mistake. And then I'm going to ask again in just a few more moments. So this is teaching him that if you do it right, I leave you alone. If you do it wrong, I send you back and we have to do it again. Now we're going to start in the other direction. I'm going to point up in the way I want him to go. I notice that he's still unsure about the direction that he's going, and that's fine. Not a big deal. We have to start somewhere. I really love how forward he is. My horse Dylan is a off-the-track thoroughbred, which means he was a racehorse, so he started out like so forward, which just means moving really fast all the time, always willing to go, 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 not super great at stopping. Sam here is also forward. I like the way that he moves. I think he's a pretty mover, which is always a plus. Pretty movers, if you can get them working well under saddle, heck, maybe we can do a couple shows together. That'll make him look even better to a potential adopter. Even if they're online shows, we've been doing some online dressage shows recently. That would be a really fun thing to try out and to get him into. So he's doing a great job this direction. Actually, he's doing really well both directions with maintaining consistent direction. That's something that I like to take notes every day that I work a horse if I'm trying to accomplish some goals. So when I finish up today, I'm going to go into my notebook and write how good he was at his directions. Because for a day 1 or even like a day 2 or 3, this is phenomenal. The fact that he's still going one way. Most horses are like, and backwards and sideways and towards you and outward and bump into the fence and like, ah! This is phenomenal. We're going to try another change of direction. And so see, that time we didn't actually get him to pull his upper body off the fence. And so what I'm going to do is try and sneak around him here and see if I can. Oops, he's going to turn the wrong way into the fence. So I'm going to come behind him, send him back off the way he was going, and then I'm going to try again. Good boy. And he goes the right way that time, so I don't send him off. And you notice he went off anyway, and that's fine. But I'm going to give him that moment. I'm going to say, hey, you turned the right direction. If you run off that time, that's fine. It's all about picking our battles, and what we're working on today is the fact that he will turn towards me when I ask him to, turn to the inside, and the fact that he will consistently maintain the direction that I sent him off in. And so ideally, in the future, something we'll work on is that when I pull him off the fence and ask him to face me, that doesn't mean just run off in the opposite direction. But that's like step 5 or 6. That's not step 1. We're still on step 1. We're going to try another change of direction at kind of a sticky spot for him. And he goes the wrong way, so I just come behind him. And I get a little more, I don't want to call it aggressive, but a little more forceful about sending him off this direction, because that was a mistake that he just made. And that's fine. Be a little bit of a mistake, but less so. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. And we don't have to overreact. We're not beating the heck out of our horses if they make a mistake, but we need to let them know, oops, that was the wrong decision. Good boy. And I'm going to let him have his moment. And you see he's licking and chewing right there? Something that Clinton Anderson teaches us is that licking and chewing, they're like licking their brains. They're going, oh, is that what you wanted me to do. I'm understanding, I'm processing, I'm, kind of grasping the concept. So the fact that I sent him off, if he turns into the fence, I send him back off and he goes, oh, wait a minute, like, what did I do wrong? When he turns to the inside, I leave him be. He licks and chews and he goes, oh, what she wants is for me to turn to the center of the arena. And that is what I want right now. That's all that I want from him today, is to maintain direction and to turn to the inside of the arena when I ask him to. So once we get our horses trotting out in both directions consistently, so meaning he's not stopping, he's not changing direction without me asking him to, the next step is to move up into a canter, which is the next fastest gait. And so we're going to see a little bit of what Sam has to offer. Is he a good mover at the canter? Is it messy as heck and he needs more muscle building? We're going to find out. So we're going to see a little bit more about him, perhaps his potential, and if he knows what the kissing sound means. So he's a little fast. It's a little bit like, woo! But that's a nice canter. He held it for a full lap. My end goal is for when I ask him to canter, he continues to canter until the cows come home. Right now what I'm going to do is just when he breaks down from the canter like he just did, now he's back to a trot, I'm going to wait for him to fully commit to the mistake. So I'm not going to nag him just because he's slowed down. I'm going to wait for him to make the mistake, and then I'm just going to send him back off again. I'll ask for a change. And the reason I ask him to stop before, pretty quickly after he starts cantering is so that it's my idea to stop him. Because right now I can only get a consistent one lap at the canter, and I'm not going to pick that fight today. So I'm going to take what I can get from him. And I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. And he's having a little trouble there. Turning into the middle, you'll notice he's staying up against the fence. If anything, he's considering turning to the outside. And so we're just going to keep trying it until it works. That's better, but not quite. And so we don't get upset with him, we just keep going until we get what we want. And eventually he'll learn, because he's thinking about it. You see, he looks at me, he's just not turning that body. Oh. Marvelous. Don't know why he decided to do that 5 seconds later, but that's what we're looking for. And so I want him to learn that if he stays, parallel to the fence, or ever so slightly, it might be a little hard to tell on camera because he's kind of dark, but what he's doing is if the fence is right here, he's turning ever so slightly into the fence. He's not perfectly parallel, because on our first day I might accept him staying parallel to the fence and just looking at me. That would be something I'd accept. What I do not want to accept is him turning ever so slightly into the fence, because that's him going, ooh, I'm going to turn around the wrong way. So I want to make sure he's either facing me like this, which is gorgeous. I will take this and I will go home super happy gushing about this. Or I would accept him staying parallel but kind of looking at me. So he's heading in that direction. So when you're first working with a horse that you don't know super well and you want to try joining up or getting them to follow you around the round pen, I'm going to kind of ignore him and just have him want to come with me. And our end goal is going to be moving towards the center of the arena and then standing here. Because hanging out with me at the center of the arena is where he should always want to be. And that's what will create that draw, that as I'm trying to change directions around the edges of the round pen, it's going to create that draw where, as soon as I step out in front of him, he goes, yes, ma'am, I want to be with you in the center of the arena. That is where I get to rest. That is where I get to just sit and be fat and happy, and hang out with you and you'll scratch me. We want them learning that if they're, if I'm moving your feet, it's to gain respect. And then if you come hang out with me respectfully, this is where you're going to have all of the fun and the food and the treats and the love. Thanks for hanging out with us today as we worked with our horse, Sam. Check back soon. We're going to be making a whole series with Sam to show you how he progresses from what you saw at the beginning of today's video into hopefully a super successful and well-trained horse that can go on to have a forever home with somebody.
If you you enjoyed this video, we'd love to hear from you. Like and subscribe and leave us a comment about what you might like to see in future episodes. We'll see ya back on the ranch.